portion of the quotation on page 151, Murray says, between what we can directly observe, the stimulus and the resulting action. The behavior is the action. The stimulus is something that provoked the individual to behave in a certain way. He says a need is an invisible link, which may be imagined to have the properties that an understanding of the observed phenomena demand. That is, we see the behavior, and how are we going to explain to ourselves why we behave in the way we do? Or, especially if we're in a management role, why do our employees behave the way they do? And incidentally, it is explainable. Perhaps not with 100% precision, but we can get mighty close to why people are doing what they're doing. And then he continues that there is a hypothetical process that points activity and coordinates it. And we're going to test this on us with the exercise to see which needs out of the list that I derived from Murray's research are important to you, and how do you rank them. And I think it can be revealing, at least it has been in the past. Now, he divides needs into two major classes. One set are physical needs, such as the requirements of the human body, such as the need for food, air, water. I'm going to add a certain amount of rest and sleep is necessary for us to function in a proper way. The second set are the psychological needs, which he suggests, or doesn't suggest, he declares. They focus on mental satisfaction and emotional reactions. And we'll see what those are in a moment. Now, we cannot see needs. They are totally invisible. When we talk among ourselves, and if you talk to your friends, you may derive some idea of what drives that person's behavior. And you may say you have a need for or a need of. And you can do it in layman's language, and you don't have to use any formal terminology. But here we are going to use the formal terms to explain some stuff for ourselves and for others. But needs are latent. They're internal in the person, and they only become active in the presence of stimuli that hit that particular need. And so we'll try to get some examples from you folks. I certainly would like you to do it, and then I'll put myself on the block and see if we can flesh out how needs operate. So now let's turn to the E exercise, and incidentally, of course, at the sites, please add in your observations, and you can easily communicate with us and let us know how things are going. All right, and you know that clock is wrong. And it'll stay that way until we change the time again. I guarantee it. They never change the clocks. All right. On your E exercise, I'm going to call on you around, and I'll end up, let's see, Ashley? Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to learn a few names. I'll start here and go up and across and come over. I'm not meaning to put you last. I may alter it and come over here. I don't know yet. And I want you to remember what I just said. Okay, Ashley, if you're willing, if you don't want to go public with what you have on your sheet, you can say, I do not wish to comment. But Ashley, are you willing to comment?
Sure.
What need did you list as your most important? Affiliation? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hold you there because I'm getting a nod. Yours is affiliation also? And yours was affiliation? Number two. Okay. That's all right. Number one and number two. Anybody else over here? Number two? Okay. Now, we don't have an even distribution of the sexes in the room. There's more women than men here today. So one could possibly infer that female socialization would lead to a strong need for affiliation. Do you have a large circle of friends, Ashley?
Yeah, it's pretty large.
I would predict a large circle of friends for a person who has a need for affiliation is number 1 or number 2. Is that true for the others up here? Are your friends here in this room today? Any of your friends? That's what I thought. And why would I think that? Yes. Yep. And you see, from my perspective here, I can see the clustering a little bit easier than you can see it from where you're sitting. Now, my inference, I held it until today when I possibly could confirm it. I didn't run up to you, 2 weeks ago and say, I bet you have a high need for affiliation because you've got all these buddies hanging around you. I wanted to reserve it for now. Okay, for the others up in this area, which need is number 1, other than the ones we've already talked about? Nurturance? Number 1. And number 2, nurturance? Nurturance was number 2 for you. Number 1. Anybody else have nurturance as number 1? Wow, I find that unusual for men.
Well, I think the reason is because my dad has been in a wheelchair my whole life, so I've always been there for him.
Okay.
So I'm always looking at
So you've always had to behave, at least with a family member, in the caring, nurturing way. And you had that experience as a young boy.
Yeah, he lost his legs when he was 16 years old.
16. He was 16 years old.
He was 16.
He was 16. So obviously, wow, that's a heck of a story. And it shows something about needs, which is the fact that they're learned. And you come from an environment within which that kind of behavior is necessary, and that shapes your personality, which we then translate into the need. Need for nurturance over here. Do you have children, if I may ask? No? You have 2 dogs?
I have
1 dog. Okay, that's the 8-year-old dog.
She's about 13.
Oh, she's 13 now. When you taught her to roll over, she was 8. Okay, I remember these things. That's right. That's pretty old. Okay. What other needs were number 1, sir?
We put autonomy.
Autonomy. That means you want to be your own person. Is that a reasonable description without knowing you any better than I do?
Yeah, that's pretty correct.
Are you in a
It's
management?
Not being influenced from other people.
Say it again?
Not being influenced
By other people?
by other people.
That's a toughie in modern society.
Yeah.
Does it cause you any strain or stress when other
Yeah.
people?
I mean, it's something I work on. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I had that phrase I there before, but because I thought you could also take it like in a positive way, like being influenced in positive ways by other people. So it's not necessarily always a negative thing.
No, I hope I'm not leaving that impression. That's not what I'm saying. This is not a measure of psychoses. You are okay. It is a perfectly healthy response. But in your situation, if you're in a student team, I would expect you to want to take control of the team.
It's sometimes difficult not to.
Sometimes difficult
Yeah.
because of the
I
team.
struggle with that, you know.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Others, up in here, what was Chris, your
I put achievement for
number 1? Anybody else have achievement number 1? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Why?
I don't know, just the most important to me. Giving like purpose, I guess. Feels good to achieve, like to feel accomplished, I guess.
Okay. Back row.
I don't know, just really I think my whole life I've had, my parents have always like enforced how important school is and get an education and be successful, so it's always just that's the
Okay,
way it's supposed to be.
Well, no, you're expressing how we can learn the needs that are important to us from family upbringing. So if you have a family situation where you get told it's important to get along, then possibly some other needs are going to emerge as stronger than the need for achievement. In your case, the need for achievement is number one?
Yeah, pretty much the same reason as hers. My parents like grad schools and expectations, not an option. So that's just sort of the way I grew up.
If I may ask, for those with a high need for achievement, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, what is the highest level of educational achievement to which you aspire?
At least one grad school degree.
Say it again?
At least one grad school degree.
At least one bachelor's degree.
No, at least one grad school.
Oh,
degree.
some graduate degree. And you're thinking of a graduate degree?
I'm cool with bachelor's.
Say it again?
I said I'm cool with just a bachelor's.
Go just with a bachelor's?
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I put achievement for number one too, but I don't necessarily feel the need to get like a master's. Like a bachelor's good enough, but like when I do, I feel like I have to do well in school and not necessarily get the highest degree. I mean, that's just what I feel about. Because getting the highest degree isn't that important. Just doing my best is what's important.
Well, it's...
I'm kind of like, I know, like, that's what I feel like, honestly, like, yeah, I'm pretty much tired of school. But, and I'm thinking, like, bachelor's.
I
like,
understand.
I'm done, you know, I don't want to continue, but then, like, as soon as I, like, tell my mom that, she's like, no, you guys keep going and this and that, and so, like, I know I got to do it, so.
Do your parents have advanced degrees? They have a bachelor's degree? No. High school diploma, and they're encouraging the children to go on for higher education. And that's a common.
Like, I just have my older brother, and he has just his associates for my Tech, and but for me, like, my mom's like, because I should be graduating in December, and I told her I wanted to take a break for the spring semester, and she's like, it's blowing her mind. She's like, no, you need to just continue, and
Oh, wow.
so yeah.
That's kind of cool. You can take a break, but as an example, because the way we have designed the MBA and the BBA, they are quite parallel to each other. So that if you come into the MBA, our MBA program, within 5 years of your bachelor's degree, you get to waive a whole bunch of courses, such as the graduate equivalent of this course. You don't have to take it. That reduces the number of hours. That we presume that you have the information and it gets used in other courses, but you can knock off quite a bit. I don't know the exact amount. But the amount of work that goes into a master's degree, any type of master's, an MBA as an example, or a Master of Science or an MA, and the type of work that goes in for a PhD, which usually takes 4 years beyond the master's. It's a tad bit of work. Okay, did we cover, what is your most important need, sir?
Mine is affiliation.
Affiliation. So you have the same kind of the character, do you have a big circle of friends?
Good.
Okay. And you enjoy the company of other people, hanging out?
That's
No?
all I do. That's all I do.
Oh, that
Just talk to a bunch of different random people.
motorcycle shop and hanging out. All right. All right. Predict my most important need. I just wrote it down here. Dominance?
In order.
Order? Order is my third out of 5. I rank 5. Achievement is my most important. Why do you say that? I'm not looking for flattery, by the way, but
You've gone pretty far in education.
yeah.
Do you have, I don't know if you have do you have your PhD?
Yes. Yeah. 35 years ago.
And then you wrote this book. So.
Yeah, and a bunch of others. My dominance here. Why did you say dominance? I'm curious because of.
I said that because you're a teacher and you take control of the classroom and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much required to do it. And this room does not lend itself to a more group-oriented style. It's one of the reasons. Well, the room we're considering converting at the Anderson School is one of the pit rooms, you know, with the circle of chairs. So it's even hard to do it there. But in other rooms, if you've been in them, you know you can move the tables and the chairs. You can form small groups and have exercises and activities. And I can't do that in here. This is as close as I get to it.